Hey guys, welcome back to
another
another episode of the Legal Lowdown.
We're your hosts,
Let's do st-
Caleb, and
Alakai.
and today we're going to be discussing legal careers,
Legal careers, lawyers, logistics, attorneys, things of that.
all types of things of that nature.
My counselor gave me a pamphlet about legal careers. Not gonna lie, it's a lot, bro. Like, it's a lot.
Legal careers, huh? Like becoming a lawyer?
Yeah, like that's the big one, obviously. But like, apparently, new to my knowledge, there are a ton of different paths that you could take in the legal field. Like, just not in a courtroom, like TV dramas and stuff.
Really? Like what else?
Well, you've got the classic trial lawyers, who are in arguing court cases. But then there are transactional lawyers, who focus on things like contracts and business deals. Think about those managers and acquisitions you hear about someone who got draft paperwork for all that.
So like the behind the scenes legal work.
Exactly. Like there are also ways for lawyers who work for the government, like prosecutors or public defenders, you know. And then there are corporate lawyers who work for companies advertising them on legal issues.
Man, that's way more than I thought. I always just pictured a fancy suit yelling in court kind of lawyer.
Right? Me too, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I always just thought of like the big suit guy, big briefcase, glasses. That's all I thought. But even within being a lawyer, apparently, allegedly, there are so many different fields that you could specialize in. Like, it's almost too many to count. Like environmental law, intellectual property law. That's all about patents and trademarks, or even family law you can study upon.
Family law? Like divorce stuff?
Yeah, but also like child custody, adoption, and all that. It's a pretty broad field, and apparently you can even become a lawyer who doesn't really practice law in traditional cases.
What do you mean by that?
Like you can use your legal background to work in politics, or for nonprofit organization, or even in a business consultants.
As a consultant.
Consultants. Thank you. The critical thinking and analytical skills you learn from the school are apparently really valuable in a lot of different fields.
So it's not just about knowing the law, it's about how you think.
And that's what the pamphlet says, at least. How much can we really believe that? But it talks about pre-law isn't just about memorizing statutes. It's about learning how to analyze problems, build arguments, and communicate effectively.
That actually sounds kind of useful, even if you don't end up being a lawyer.
I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking the same thing. Like, there's other legal careers that aren't lawyers at all, like paralegals who assist lawyers research paperwork, or legal secretaries.
Great careers right there. So like the support staff almost.
Pretty much, it's like their whole thing. Their ecosystem is a bunch of people working in the legal field, not just ones that pass the bar exam.
But it sounds like a lot of school though.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Pre-law in college, then law school, which is usually like 3 years, and then you have to pass the bar exam. I'm not gonna lie, it's like a good, significant commitment to your time.
Well, you seem pretty into it though. What's drawing you to law?
I guess I like the idea of being able to help people navigate through complex situations. And I've always been good at arguing my point. Maybe a little too good sometimes.
Stop it, you. Yeah, I can see that. So, are you set on becoming a lawyer?
I'm not 100% sure yet, or even say I'm diving down that path, but I'm trying to learn as much as I can now. Pre-law seems like a good way to explore if it's really for me, without being committed to law school right away and all that commitment and time. I don't know if I'm ready for it yet.
Makes sense. So, what's the plan now? More pamphlet reading?
Possibly some pamphlet reading, you know, maybe some talking to some people who are actually in the legal field, you know, maybe like Miss Harris. She kind of counts, or the criminal justice teacher, you know, or I could just read about it some more. But it's another to hear for somebody that's living in it.
Great idea. And hey, if you ever need someone to practice your arguments on, you know where to find me.
Thanks, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be doing that anyway, Sway.
That's all we got, folks. And we'll see you again on the next episode of the
Legal Lowdown, guys.
And then we'll be discussing juvenile law. We hope you can join us for that.
We really hope that you can dive into that with us. We are your hosts,
Caleb
and Malachi. See you next time, guys.